friends, it's Laura, and today I want to share with you my top 5 makeup tips for mature women. And this video, it was inspired by Marlena for Makeup Geek. I love Marlena. I've watched her since she was in her bedroom, sitting on the floor, shooting her videos. And I guess I was drawn to her because she's a teacher, and I always have a soft spot in my heart for teachers because I've been a public school teacher for 25 years. And she just seems so natural and like a friend I would have. And great ideas. She had amazing tips that I used and loved. I remember one quote lesson where she had a big eyeball, a drawing of an eye, and she talked about placement of shadows and which shades work for which color of eye. And I just thought, this is the coolest thing ever, this YouTube thing. It's like going to school and taking a college class on makeup. I just thought, and for free. How good does it get? I was just so excited by the thought of that. And so when she did her video recently for Truth in Makeup, I looked down in the comments and I saw so many people from our community, our mature community, commenting on how they felt so left out. So left out of YouTube and just left out of everything. And so this video I wanted to do, it's what I call going old school. We're going back to tips. I'm not going to tell you a single product I'm using. I just want to share with you my thoughts and my creativity and my ideas. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I had such horrible acne that the purpose of foundation was just to cover it all up. I wore it so cakey, anything to cover those zits. But as we mature, that cakiness just goes right into those fine lines and wrinkles and really ages us. And fortunately for me, I don't have the acne anymore. So I've had to come up with a new game plan. And what I do as far as applying foundation is apply heavier around the nose because I do have signs of aging there also, like broken capillaries around the edge of the nose. And what I do to make the foundation not look cakey all over is to apply a very thin amount from this part on. Most of us in this part of our face have beautiful skin. It's not wrinkled and it doesn't have as much skin damage there because of the way the sun hits us. Most of the damage is in this area. So what I do is, say for example, start with a heavier foundation and do it a little heavier around the nose and blend it out lighter. And what I do is squirt some on my hand and then mix either aloe vera or a moisturizer or an oil like argan oil with it for this part of the face. I don't put the oil in this part because first of all, my T-zone is really oily and that's not gonna work. So by doing sort of two different types of foundation on my face, sort of a BB cream by mixing the moisturizer or oil, depending on the season, how dry my skin is here. And the heavier, the regular foundation there, I get beautiful coverage without getting in my fine lines. Another way of getting great coverage for areas of your face you're not so happy with, but not creating a big cake face, is to get a concealer stick that's very thin and only drawing on the spot itself and then tapping in the concealer. Now, right in the sides of my nose here, I have very fine broken capillaries, veins. So what I do is I found a stick that is a medium skin tone, which is what I am. I draw right on the line, and I really like the pencil sharp so I can get a nice thin point almost right on it. And then I just take my ring finger and just tap it so you don't see the line. And it blends out beautifully, covers the line without anybody noticing. When I was younger, I used to apply my eyeshadows just like these younger YouTubers do, going back and forth, blending like this. That doesn't work for a 54-year-old eye, at least not mine. My eyes are deep set, and I deal with a lot of the issues those of you with hooded eyes deal with. I need to lift the eye up because my eyes have a tendency to look very sunk in. So what I've come up with, instead of doing that back and forth because that brings my eyes downward, I bring them up by sketching out a cat eye first. Or like, I should say cat ears. Have you seen the new headbands with the little cat ears? That's sort of what I'm doing on my eyelid. So the way I do that is I get a pointed eyeshadow brush. I'm going to move my bangs here so you can see. And I start on the outer third of the bottom of my eye. Don't start it on the lid because it won't come out the correct shape. And what I do is start on this third and I draw the line up with the shadow until I reach the edge of my brow. Then from the brow, I go inward right about to here, right on the bone. And then I have a perfect little cat eye. Then I draw the other side. Then I take the brown and very lightly, I fill it in like I'm coloring in on a coloring book. Then I take a fluffier brush, let me grab a fluffy brush, and I just sort of blend out the lines gently so they're not harsh. And you get such a beautiful lift to the eye. Now in this little bit of space that has no shadow, I go in with a cream concealer, usually one with like a little pink tone or flesh tone, and fill that in, and I just pat it in. And that gives such a lifted, beautiful eye look and helps your eyes not to look droopy. My next tip is to just look at your face. Really look in the mirror and see the shape of your face. My face looks nothing like it did when I was in high school. My face in high school was so round, I couldn't stand my baby cheeks that I had that were so plump. And Lord knows I wish I had those back. People mistake all the time. They think on YouTube or even when I see people, I've had fillers in my cheeks, and I absolutely haven't. What's happened is I've lost so much volume over the years in this part of my face that my cheekbones stand out. I am a carbon copy of my mother. We have the same shape of face, same cheekbones. And it really started happening around the age of 25. I noticed around the time I started having kids that my face took on a whole different shape. So what I've done is I've gone with different size brushes. Don't listen to every YouTuber what they say, buy this fluffy brush and this big brush. It may not be right for you. You really have to customize brushes to your face. So would you believe this is the size of brush that I use for contour? I put the contour on like this with this small brush that's really meant for concealer, and then I take a little bigger brush and blend it out. When it comes to my eyeshadow, you see these huge brushes. These are two of my favorites. I love having a pointed brush because I can do eyeliner with that. That works beautifully. And this is actually a crease brush, but I use it for that cat eye too that I was telling you about, for blending in between the cat ear right in here. And that's been amazing for me. So look at the shape of your face that it is now and pick brushes that really fit you. When I was younger, I used to layer concealer on my eyelids. I'm sure you ladies remember that. So thick, and I could get away with it to help my shadows stay on all day. I can't do that now. If I layer that on like I see a lot of other YouTubers do that are young, it would look so crepey. And my lids, if I have no shadow on, really don't look crepey. Applying so many layers just makes them look much worse. So what I use is, instead of all these heavy primers, just on the lid, I use glitter primer, and it can be any glitter primer. You may already have one, but it is so tacky when you use it. I'm going to put some on my hand here. When you put it on, it's so thin, yet instantly you get so much more tack than you do with concealer or with these eye primers. Now it's not going to work in the crease because you're not going to be able to blend your shadows out to do the look that I just talked about, the cat ear look. So what I do is I do the cat ear first on my eye, blend that section out, then I apply the glitter primer on the lid, and boy does my shadow stay. I can go to work for 12, 14 hours and come home and my shadow looks just as good as when I left. And yet my eyes don't look crepey. So that's my solution for crepey eyelids. One of the things Marlena mentioned in her video is how smaller channels like mine and like many in the mature community have such great relationships with the people watching their channels. And I have to say, that's one of the best parts of my week, is reading your comments. They mean so much to me. I wish I had more time to comment back. I try to comment to everyone, and you all know that I'm a teacher, and that kind of a job is a long job. I work 12 hours a day. So it makes it hard, but I want you to know how much I love and care about all of you, and appreciate how much you've supported me over the time I've been on YouTube. And what I want to do is spread the love. Will you in the comments help me spread the love by writing some of the channels that you watch and why you enjoy the mature community over other videos? I think all of us in the mature community would just love that encouragement and appreciate it. I hope you all have a great week.